in 1983, when I first went to India to live with my Guruji Sitara Devi, film star, tantric expert, and an amazing dancer. I had come out of the feminist movement. I'm one of the children of the 60s. And I was, full of this hunger for women to have their true power and stand right beside men I dressed from. And she looked at me and she says, "What is this? You look like a boy. How do you expect to embody the goddess when this is your natural way of moving?" So the first mantra, the first dance she taught me was Shiva, who was a man, because I was closer to that. And through the time I spent with her, she gave me a sense of beauty, refinement, elegance, sensuality, grace, and power of the feminine that is now returning. And she gave me a mission to bring this back. And that's why we are here. And that is what this time is about. Women, we have always been the spiritual teachers. We're the first mother. We hold righteousness, truth, and integrity in our hands. It's time for us to rise up and take hold of that power. Stop trying to be a man. And when we do that, the men will come back to us in a way you can't imagine. And we will be able to reinvigorate the world. We will bring a new beginning and a new magic. That's called Tantra. That's called alchemy. This is a time of shifting vibrations. What does that mean, shifting vibrations? Shanti Shivani, who many of you heard last night, has spent many, many years studying the art of healing and vibration.
I should say my teachers were all men. And I grew up in a family where I was supposed to be a boy. But through working with the sound, and of course before that, but working with the sound, I understood that it's really all about going into the heart. We call it the anahata nada, going into the unstruck inner sound. And my path actually started out with the devotional singing when I found my guru, or he found me actually, he came to me. And we would sing all night long. And so that was the first heart-opening experience. And then on my path, I lived in India for 8 years. I was very much interested in Tibetan Buddhism. I ended up in Dharamsala, where the Dalai Lama is, and ended up, instead of going into a monastery and doing the practices, I ended up meeting one of my guru guys from Pushkar, who was a tapa player, and I ended up getting totally drawn into drumming. So the rhythm, first the devotional music, the simple chants, and singing with the villagers in India, and that was just such an amazing experience of love and being connected with all. Then the rhythm was a real important foundation, not just for the grounding, but to balance all the inner rhythms. And then I met my teachers, who I saw, and I knew this was the music that I was always looking for. And this music was, as I mentioned, was about going inside, connecting with the inner sound, singing from the inner voice, not about projecting out, It's about going inside and into the silence. It used to be in India that the silence, the pause between the notes was more important than the notes. And now we've gotten also to the place life has gotten much more fast-paced, also in India, where the notes are more important. But we're always brought back to, you listen inside, you become empty, you become the vessel. And what is the mother? The mother is the vessel. So that's really, I think, what I have to offer is becoming the vessel, the empty vessel, going inside and listening and just waiting for the inner movement in whatever you do in life, for that action that you take instead of reacting, taking the action when you are moved from the heart to do something. And I must say, I started out many years ago, but it came back exactly to the same thing that my first guru tried to teach me, about making yourself empty. And now again, I'm sitting with a teacher, and it's all about being in the present moment. And when I'm in the present moment, all there is love. So that's all I have to do.
What does it mean when we need to return to the ways of the feminine and bring this new world, birth this new world? Throughout traditional societies, women have been the healers and caretakers of the sacred plants. From my own understanding now, it is the time we have the capacity to regrow, reseed our world. The devas of the elements are just waiting for us to learn to interact with them again, to sing to them, to sit, to plant them, to put our hands in the earth and work together to regrow a world of beauty. In the Kabbalistic tradition, Tiferet, the heart center, is the center of beauty. And out of that center radiates 8 paths, going to all the different sephirot. It is time that we sit in the heart. We sit together, whether it's alone, in community, in nature, and ask nature to come back to us in all of her fullness and grace. So I'd like to now introduce Marza, who really has a lot to tell you about this.
I work with the plants, and I work with the energy of the plants, and working with Mother Earth. I'm going to talk story. In Hawaii, we call it Villodo, or Villau. Our Halikua Makanoi is that gentle rain that comes to us. And I'd like to take a minute for us to sit. And the story that I was told is called A Bowl of Light. When we enter this world as innocents, as babies, we're given a bowl of light. And as we walk through our lives, we pick up things and we put in our bowl, and our light becomes diminished. Well, how do we make this light bright? And what I've been told in Hawaii, how do we make this light bright and bring our bowl back? We tip it over and dump out the rocks. And again, we have a bowl of light. What I'd like to do with us this evening is do an activation where we open up our solar plexus and then we align ourselves and we bring ourselves into a breathing exercise of filling ourselves with a bowl of light. And once again, holding your energy not only in your solar plexus, but allowing that bolt of light to be within your womb area. And that's both for men and women. We both hold our energy in our centers and to be full. So once we're going to do this breathing exercise, and then while we're holding our bolt of light, this is a song that was given to my family, the Fire Clan, and it's for all the unborn children that await to come in through that energy. So let's go ahead and do this exercise. Activate we bring in our earth energy. We bring ourselves, and you feel that, cord yourself to the earth. And feel your bowl. Take a deep breath. Blow it out. Another deep breath. Blow it out. And fill that bowl of light. Fill your inner core. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya. 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 Take a deep breath. And know that you can always feel this inner peace, that your light is always shining. And if the burdens are too much, dump out your bowl, leave it at your door, plant your feet in the dirt, listen to the earth, listen to the wind, and give your voice. And once again, bring yourself back to center. Home.
I'd like to ask you to speak about your recent experience up in the... Which one? In the booth.
I had an opportunity, some of you heard me speak about this. I work for Flower Ensign Services. It's a vibrational medicine. Many of you know Dr. Richard Bach's work about 100 years ago called Bach Remedies, and I work for the company that has taken Dr. Bach's work and taken it farther into the North American essences. We're doing a program with Indian Health Services working with tribal natives, and I recently had an opportunity to spend part of my summer with the Yupik Siberian people on St. Lawrence Island. St. Lawrence Island is 200 miles out into the Bering Sea. It's 38 miles from Russia. You can see, as you land, you can see Siberia, Russia, the mountains, which is actually closer. There's two villages on this island. One is called Savunga, the other one is called Gamble. Gamble is built on a sand spit, gravel. It's been there for 8,000 years. It's part of the Bering Land Strait. And the interesting thing with the global warming is they're now surrounded by three sides with a lagoon that's filling up in front of them in their village. There's a woman I had an opportunity to meet. I went to the Alaska Native Conference last year, and the woman was 103 years old, and she had an opportunity to talk to me. And what she said is, I don't know where I'm going. My village is being flooded because of global warming, and I no longer know because the government wants to move my village, and my ancestors won't know where to find me when I die. It's really an opportunity to see it firsthand. These people have no doctor that lives close by. The nearest doctor is in Nome, 200 miles away, and it costs them $440 to fly round trip from Nome to go home to get care. If they're expecting a baby, they either challenge it to have it alone on this gravel sands bed, or they have to go pay money at a hotel and stay there in Nome until the baby is born. They have no dental care and have to, again, pay $440 round trip. There's no way to make income except these people are some of the most incredible carvers in the world. I'm wearing one of their pieces, which is an orca tooth. They believe the orca is sacred, and they use every bit of whatever comes on the island. And this was a whale that was beached, and it was considered sacred, and they create art from it. These people have a high alcohol content. They make their own moonshine, and they have very little income coming in at all. It's $20 a gallon for gas, and they drive around ATVs, and it's not unusual for a family of 6 or 7 to be hanging off an ATV at 5 degrees below zero in frozen weather to get from place to place. The only services they have is a barge that comes in once a year that brings in anything large, and the rest of everything is flown in, if they can get in because of the weather, 2 or 3 times a week. And they have no way to grow their own food, and everything they get is processed food. Their original food was whale, walrus, and seal. They still are allowed to hunt those, but they're very controlled now by the U.S. because of the endangered species. And they're losing their skills. They're losing their skills on how to survive. And we had an opportunity to bring the flower essences to them. We're working with a grandmother who lost 8 of her children at one time in a boat that was unsafe and overloaded trying to catch a walrus for food. These people are incredible people to have endured in this environment for 8,000 years, but now because of losing part of their culture, they're also losing part of their land. So anyway, just making you aware that global warming is happening. Global warming, I've seen it for myself. These are things that are not published. You don't hear about them. If you go to western Alaska, very depressed economic area, but a land of extreme beauty and extreme people that love their land and they love their history. And speaking to one of the young gals on the way home, she was going to Nome as I was flying out of there, and she says, "Oh, I've got to go to Nome for a meeting, and I can't wait to get back. I'm going to miss my family." So these are people that are embedded in their community and their tradition. And I offer that we give them our prayers for survival in all the cultures that are on that edge, because there are many indigenous cultures that are on that edge. Hope.